investor doing things on your own? How about someone working with a firm that isn't so responsive or in sync with your investment philosophy? My podcast talks you through all things financial. Look, there's stuff you don't deal with very often, but investments, insurance, and retirement is something we plan for each and every day. This is the Pennywise Financial Podcast, and welcome to the show. Welcome to Pennywise Financial Podcast. This is Constantine here, Monarch Wealth Management. I have a guest today, very special guest. Natalie, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Thanks, I'm excited to be here.
Natalie Fichera from NJF Travel.
That's it.
Okay, so tell us about. Anyway, so tell us about your background, your experience, and how did you get to NJF Travel and set up your own company?
Yeah, so I've been in the travel industry for just about 9 years. I went to, when I was maybe right after high school, I moved to Florida, lived there for 5 years. Didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I worked for Disney World, different restaurants. At some point, I realized that the hospitality industry in and of itself was more my speed. So I started to go to college courses out in Florida and decided it was time to move home. Family's pretty much where I'm at. So I moved home and looked into MCC, and they had this tourism department that was within their hospitality industry. So I was department, yes.
Wow.
So I was
I didn't know.
Because when it came to my whole life, I always worked in restaurants, and that wasn't much of a challenge for me. I needed something different where I could learn more. So I applied for their tourism department, took some classes, graduated with an associate's, and then went on to Niagara University in their tourism management department and got a bachelor's in that. And then post-graduation, I was looking for jobs, and I didn't really necessarily want to be a travel agent, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I wanted to brand cities to build their tourism, but that's a kind of hard job to come by.
Is that like a PR kind of thing where you promote the city and get people?
Okay. Like Rochester, would be like their events, lilac festivals, building the tourism based off of what we can offer. So with that being said, I got into Liberty Travel as a novice travel agent and started there and really found a passion for the industry in and of itself through that job, which I was kind of surprised by. And then after that, worked with different companies and found out recently that I want to do this myself. I want to build my vision of a travel agent and what I, believe is what I can offer my clients, and that is where NJF has been.
So this is your business. This is your company. There's no boss. You're not going to get promoted. You are at the top.
I'll probably promote myself.
You might.
No, this is all me. This is my vision.
Okay. So that's kind of the history, the background, your schooling, education, kind of what you wanted to do. Now this is your own company. This is your baby.
Yes.
When did you guys go live?
Just this year.
This year. Okay. So I'm on the website. If somebody wants to book a vacation, which I'm sure all of us are dying to get the hell out of Dodge, right? What do they do? What's step one?
If they're not referred by a client, they come to my website, go to the Contact Us page.
Okay.
And they can fill out an inquiry, and it comes right directly to my email, and I respond from that.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. I know this is probably like the number one question. I get this a lot. And I even get this for us. So right now, everything has been democratized where it's super easy, really quick to do. Mm-hmm. You're a financial advisor. You're a managing partner of a financial firm. I can go on my Robinhood app. I can go on my TD app or Schwab app and buy stocks. You can. Yeah. You can do all that stuff. So how do financial advisors still exist? I get that question. But people don't really know. So they probably ask you the same damn question, right? Travel agent, who does that anymore? Mm-hmm. So I think the misconception is it's going to cost me more money if I go and book with a travel agent.
Sure.
Right? Like automatically. So how much do they pay to meet with you at first and just talk about like design of a vacation?
So I think that every travel agent, I can't speak on behalf of my entire industry.
Just talk about you, because that's all we care about today.
That's right. I do not charge a fee for my clients, whether you are consulting, booking, you name it. There's no fee associated with what I do. And there's a reason for that. And I think one big question that I get from a lot of clients, which is always funny to me, is how do you get paid then?
Oh, yeah.
Which always makes me laugh, because it's not like I'm going to walk up to you and be like, so how do you get paid? But I also understand that people do get like a little sketched out by it. Well, if you're not charging me, why is this beneficial to you? And it's a simple answer. The tour operators, the hotels, the car rental companies, all of these different sectors that I work with in the industry, they pay me. It's no additional fee to my clients, and I don't. So some people might charge. I don't. Because the way I see it is I'm going to get paid anyways. I'm going to provide a service beyond what you could do on your own.
So first meeting, I meet with you. I say, me and my wife want to go to Greece and plan out just a fantastic vacation.
Nice, yeah.
No cost for initial consult.
Right.
How about the other planning meetings and all that? Nothing.
No cost at all.
No cost.
No.
Okay, so that's important. I mean, I think a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. So it's basically, like you said, my clients can go online and they can research and I like when clients research so that you can come to me and say, I really want to go to Athens, but only for a few nights because I only want to see this. But then I want to go to Mykonos because I want to be on the beach, or I want the nightlife, you name it. That is awesome for me. But there's so many other things that our clients, you're not a professional. You don't know the ins and outs of all these different areas and what's required, especially now. I provide a different level of service, but like I said, I'm already getting paid. So if you book with me, great. If you don't book with me, great too, because now at least you know who I am and what I'm capable of. And maybe I'm not a good fit for this particular reservation that you want, but down the line, going to Europe or something greater, you might need me. And now I know that you'll respect and call me.
I actually think about this compared to what we do. Mm-hmm. We plan for retirement literally every day.
Right.
How many times do you retire? Usually once, but some people retire, come back out, and go retire again. Mm-hmm. Like you just said, if we're planning a vacation to Europe, I might do that once, maybe every 5-10 years, maybe once in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But you're doing it all the time.
Right.
So there's things that I'm going to miss or not know about. And I can speak to that from our own vacations that we've planned. There's stuff that you just know, and I hate to say stuff because it sounds so generic and vague, like, oh, what are you going to provide? That I couldn't do on, Travelocity, Expedia, whatever it is. It's a lot like investments. I could give you the recipe, Mm-hmm. How about when you cook a dinner at home? You got all the ingredients, you know what goes in, you know how to cook it. Chances are, if I cook something, or Chef Joe cooks something, or you cook something, we could have the same damn ingredients.
Chef Joe is going to be better.
He's going to kill me.
Yeah.
I am not a good chef.
Same.
But let me tell you, you come to my house for breakfast, we will have pancakes and omelets and eggs, and it will be pretty darn good, I think.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, with that, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the show. The stock market leaving you confused about what to do and how to plan for the unknown? We analyze the market every day and go to work for you, our clients. Listen to our Pennywise Financial podcast to learn how we battle market downturns and what we're doing right now with our portfolios. Protection is an important part of investing, and with this new COVID environment and the raging market returns, that gives people the assumption that things only go up. Listen, share, and subscribe to keep up on the latest. Welcome back to Pennywise Financial Podcast. Constantine here, Monarch Wealth Management, joined by Natalie Fichera from NJF Travel. Welcome back, Natalie. Okay, so we know your background. We know why you started this company, which it sounds like it's been an amazing experience.
It has.
Right?
Yes, love it.
Self-employed, you're calling all the shots.
Yeah.
You're never getting promoted unless you want to. Yeah. But you're not going anywhere, and that's the point. When we started our firm, a lot of people wondered back in the day when we worked for another company, when is this guy going to get promoted, moved on, go to another company? It's not happening, right? Because you control everything.
Yeah.
So who is your... Security.
With your clients, yeah.
Right? And trust. Mm-hmm. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
I book a vacation with you. We start planning. You're working for a company. All of a sudden you get promoted. You change careers. Who do I call? I don't have that same connection. So who is your ideal client? Is it businesses that look to do corporate travel? Is it people booking weddings? Is it me and my family going on vacation to Greece? Who is it?
So I am predominantly in leisure travel. So there is two sectors to the industry. There's corporate and there's leisure. I am skilled in the leisure travel. I specialize in all travel, but I specialize specifically in destination weddings and group travel. But with that being said, like honeymooners, family vacationers, I mean, I joke recently that because of everything that's been going on, I even, if you want to go to Batavia, I will book you to Batavia. I will do
I'll go to Batavia
anything to help the client. A lot of the domestic travel has been huge for the last year. So I do find myself, I have a client that I'm working with currently who they can only go away for one night, but they want something special. And we're bouncing off ideas that, whether it's Canandaigua or going off to Geneva, going to Belhurst Castle, something for a night that's unique, but we're getting them there. So it's still a vacation, and I do all of that.
So it's basically people like me and my family. It's people that are booking group travel. And weddings, weddings it's not something that you just want to, book online and have people use a link. Or you want help. Yes. I know what it was. Weddings are chaotic. You have high anxiety, especially the brides are worried about every aspect, and especially my wife. Something goes wrong, she's like a tyrant, right? So... and I think about our experience booking travel through you over the years. It's not usually achieved in one meeting. It's like we meet once, we talk about a game plan.
Yes.
From that, my wife goes through 10 other scenarios and just compares it to drive us crazy. And then we end up booking the whole experience with you. And I think one thing to point out is, what's the difference between just booking it online, which you pay the same price and they keep the profits, or booking with you? And I'd say it's experience. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, usually the vacation goes well. But what if it doesn't? What if something happens or something goes wrong?
Right. I think, to plan that, it's the service that's provided with it. That's what sets me apart from the Expedias, the Travelocities. And I think that the best example I could give is COVID.
Oh God.
In 2020, every single vacation was canceled, Everything was canceled. And clients that book directly with me, I spent hours upon hours for each of my individual clients. So something that they didn't have to do themselves, to reach out to the airline industry and get their ticket numbers, their vouchers, or if we could refund them, do that. Same thing with the hotels and the tour companies. I spent my time in service providing it for the client to get those refunds. And it was funny because I had a lot of people who maybe I didn't book that just needed a travel agent and they needed some words of advice. And I would unfortunately not be able to assist them because I didn't have the booking. But I would be able to say to them, you're going to have to contact the airlines. And I knew it was coming.
That's a mess.
Hours, waits and things like that. So I think that the service that I can provide for the client, whether it's just booking the vacation, but then beyond that, what are some places that you guys can go to dinner that I know of are fantastic in Italy or in Greece, or even, your destination wedding, making sure that all of the rooms that are booked, family members are near each other. We have certain buildings where we're next to each other, rooms that are next to each other, making sure that the locations that you want for your wedding are there for you. So different packages and services that I could provide is what sets me apart from doing it yourself.
Absolutely. And I can say that I've had friends that have booked through, one of the websites online.
Sure.
And they package the deal together, like with airline, hotel, maybe transfers, and they've had things go wrong, and they try to call or reach out or email, right? And they say, even though you booked with us, you got to reach out directly to the airline. Well, they might work with multiple carriers. Maybe they took Delta to get to Washington, and from Washington to Aruba, they took, AirTran, JetBlue, whatever it is. Now they're calling multiple airlines, trying to coordinate things. Mind you, when you go away, it's usually for a week or 10 days or a couple of weeks at most. Do you want to spend half of an entire day trying to figure stuff out? Because that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
And I wish we knew you back when we went to, I forget where it was, maybe it was Dominican. We had an issue with our transfers where we paid for transfers, premium private transfers. They didn't even have a transfer set up for us. So we're trying to figure out how are we going to get to the airport.
Yeah.
Well, there was a language barrier. We spent like 2 to 4 hours. So, think about that. That's almost one entire day out of 10 days gone.
Yeah.
And you're frustrated.
Absolutely.
Like you're miserable, you're on vacation, you want to enjoy.
Well, absolutely, especially after traveling. Just to kind of go back on a couple of things. I think as a client or as a consumer, and I am a consumer in many fronts as well, in different industries, we are very cost focused. Everyone wants to pay the least amount of something, but they want a good experience.
Of course.
And sometimes those online agencies, Expedia's, Travelocity's, they're a lot less expensive than what I could offer you. And there's a reason for that. They buy things in bulk, they cut the cost of things just to get higher turnover, right? More people.
More volume.
What I tell my clients is, you might find the same thing online and it might be less expensive. Bring it to me. If I can, I'll price match it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll offer that same price as long as things are apples for apples. If you're looking at flights with a 24-hour layover, but I'm looking at something that's getting you there early morning, only like an hour and a half layover, like, I'm going to say to you, yeah, your cost is definitely less expensive, but it's because of this. And that's another thing that a lot of times clients don't see what I can see. You might show me a quote and I'll be like, okay, well, this is where it's different. And if it's not, I'll get you that price. And that's still giving my client the option to get that cost with the service behind it, which is huge. I think we as industry leaders, we have to do that. We can't be naive to the industry having, everyone being able to do things at their own fingertips. We have to be able to overcome and say, okay, yes, you have a lower price. I'm going to get it for you.
I think that's a good point. And I think that a lot of people are looking at this travel, they're looking at investments as a commoditized product or service. And when you do that and you look at the rock bottom price, you think you're saving money initially. Right. And I'll say people do it in our industry too. Oh, I'm going to get ideas from them, just pay them for, and I'll manage the money myself. Just like a trainer, when you're going to work out in the gym, we all know what to eat. We all know what we should be doing. Unless you have that coach there motivating you and guiding you through it, you're probably not going to execute, right? Yeah. But I think about that example you just gave, where maybe you find airfare that is $300 cheaper per person. And it sounds exciting and this is great. All of a sudden, after booking, you realize, geez, 24-hour layover. So now you just lost 1 day out of your 10 days. You're going to be overtired, but now you might have to pay for a hotel. What are you going to do? Sleep in the airport? Right. So what did you actually save?
Right.
That $300 savings per person. Now you got a hotel, you got another day that you're miserable.
Yeah.
Right. So it actually probably costs you money. Maybe not in dollars and cents, but time. And time is money on vacation. Right?
For sure. Absolutely.
How about booking vacations? I know a lot of people are big into points and miles and using different programs. Like, what can you do? So, I can speak from my perspective. I've got a Delta SkyMiles card. Yep. Not that I'm promoting that credit card specifically, but that's one of the few that I have. Sure. And so if people have points and they want to book with you, sometimes people don't realize that you can still help them with different aspects of it?
Absolutely. So if you are a client like yourself who is looking at Delta SkyMiles, we want to book a package, they have, like Delta, for instance, will have Delta Vacations.
Love it.
I can use that tour operator and book it with you or for you. If you want to actually get a savings from the flights, what I always tell my clients is if you're going to redeem the points with using your miles, you have to book it directly with the airline because I can't do that.
Right. There's nothing you can do.
Exactly. But everything else I can do for you. Now, if you're just trying to redeem more points, like we're just going to book it and we're going to put your SkyMiles number in there, I can book your package, which I just recently did for your family. Book your package, put in your SkyMiles. You guys might get like certain bonuses. I think we got a certain promotion.
The promo bonuses. Yes.
But we put in your SkyMiles and now you guys got that. And it's not something that you had to do on your own. I always try to tell clients, if you can use points, use them. Why would you not? I would, but let me help you with everything else. And then I can at least assist you. Like sometimes I'll go in and say, listen, I found this Delta flight, call, see what you can get. At least I'm giving you that service of saying, these are the flight numbers you'll want to use. This is the best flight time. See if you can make it work with your points.
You match it up to the package. Absolutely. Based on our stay, proximity to the airport, et cetera. So you know that we're not flying in at 10 o'clock at night and then paying for an expensive hotel and there's 1 day shot out of our vacation. If we want to make that decision, great. But if not, and sometimes we'll price it out both ways.
Absolutely.
What is it like if you bundle airfare with hotel and, car rentals, or we use points? And sometimes, it doesn't make sense for that particular vacation. Maybe that destination where Delta is flying or JetBlue, whoever it might be expensive to redeem points. And it doesn't make sense. You'd be better off just paying, getting the miles, and using them later, right?
I think that's the whole point is whenever I have clients, I'm actually working with some clients currently that have a similar situation. And I'll quote with the airfare included, and then I'll look at the points and say, okay, you guys have, let's just say 200,000 miles to work with. If we use these flight times for the dates that you specifically have to go, it's 350,000 for the miles to use them.
Right.
Is it worth it to pay that difference, whatever it is? And then I'm giving the client the option. Here it is, right on paper. Mm-hmm. And then we work together. The whole way through, the whole idea is I'm never going to leave it where you guys are unaware of what your options are or what you can do. And I think that's what works.
Absolutely. With that, let's take a quick break. We're right back to the show. Retirement income is not an end game. It's only part of your planning. It's meant to carry you through a long and big part of your life that can't be filled with worry or concern that you'll outlive your money. The last thing you want to worry about after working the past 30 to 40 years of your life is money and having enough of it. Listen to our show and schedule a consultation to learn more about how we can give you the confidence you deserve so you can focus on the things you truly enjoy. Welcome back to Pennywise Financial Podcast. Constantine here, Monarch Wealth Management, joined by Natalie Fichera, NJF Travel. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we covered a bit of ground. Mm-hmm. We know your background. Yep. We know how people can use you, who your ideal client is. Mm-hmm. Vacations, travel. There's probably a pent-up demand, right?
Oh, yeah.
We want to get out of Dodge.
Of course we do.
We're sick of...
Been stuck in our houses forever.
Absolutely. Can't go to church, can't go to games, can't travel, got to wear a mask. Maybe by 4th of July, we might be able to see family and maybe have a small gathering, maybe even a barbecue.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but we've been doing that all along.
Yeah.
Obviously, we remain safe, and we have family that have immune compromised issues, underlying issues. So we want to be cautious of that. But anyway, so people want to get back to travel.
Yes.
What is it like to travel now with COVID?
That is...
I mean, not traveling with COVID, but I mean in the environment, COVID environment.
Yes.
Sorry.
No. So things have changed drastically. I think last year at the end of the year in October, my fiance and I decided we had to go away. I had to see what it was like as an advisor. What are my clients going to expect? So we flew to Mexico. We did an international vacation. Things are changing every single day with COVID.
Better or worse?
We are going in the right direction.
Okay, good.
Things are getting better. Actually, just yesterday, the European Union has stated that we are going to start having borders released where you Americans can go over to Europe. Of course, there are regulations, and I think that is the biggest thing that people have to understand, that you may travel, but there are certain things in place, and we have to find out what works for you, the client. And that is why travel advisors are huge. That's why NJF Travel, I am constantly reading articles with credible articles, like people who know what they're talking about, so that I can give great feedback to you guys. Currently, let's just say for our area, Rochester, New York, the all-inclusive world is kind of like our domain. That's where a lot of our people would like to go. That relaxation with no hassle.
So you're saying basically flight, hotel, you show up, you don't need your wallet. You're not worrying about how much does this cost, how much is dinner.
Yes.
You just show up and have fun.
Right. The top destinations for that would be Mexico and the Caribbean. So that's why I went there. Of course, mask mandates are going to stay currently in airports and on aircrafts for anyone over the age of 2 years old. That does raise some issues for families that have smaller children because it's hard. But I will say that the airlines are pretty strict on that. So it's something that we would have to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. I had a client that had a younger child. I think the child was about 4 years old, did not wear a mask well. And it got to the point where it was like, maybe this trip isn't good just yet. Let's move it out. Let's move out where maybe we can do this a little bit later, where maybe restrictions will be lessened. So it's like a conversation that needs to be had.
So how was the flight? What airline did you use?
We used American Airlines.
Okay. And you wore a mask the whole time?
I got to be honest.
Airport?
I like the mask wearing on an aircraft.
You like it?
I have been on so many planes, and I've actually gotten sick a couple of times from coming. When we went to Ireland and we came home, it was a big joke that all of us had like a cough and, the sniffles. Wearing that mask, I felt very
safe.
Yeah, safe. So I joke that I'll wear
clean.
it. Yeah.
How was the airplane itself? Because I've heard really, really good things.
Great things. The aircrafts have all done a new filter infiltration as far as the air goes. When we got on board the plane, the flight attendants had sanitized everything for us previously getting on. So everything that you would sit down, touch, you name it, was sanitized. Then they gave us our own sanitation wipes for us to wipe down. So then it was like I was in control of so I can wipe down the seat myself. I can wipe down everything that I would be touching, which I thought was very clean. Their food has limited. A lot of things are prepackaged if they're even offering the food. Drinks are still available. There are some stipulations with the business class. It depends on where you're going, but again, food is limited. Drinks are still available as well. So it really just depends on what airline you're traveling on. But when it comes to safety and cleanliness, I have seen, at least with American, and we are doing quite a bit of traveling coming up as well, with all different aircrafts. It's huge. It's definitely been, in my opinion, that's the only good thing that came out of it.
Did it slow things down? Because I think of all the extra cleaning. I think of all the extra precautions the airlines, everybody involved has to do. Like, did you notice any difference? I gotta be honest.
I think that in the beginning, when the industry just started opening up and borders were lifted where we can now travel, things were a lot slower. But the airline industry has overcome. They are on a schedule. They know exactly what needs to be done. And it's really not hurting us, the traveler, at all. Even with TSA, with Rochester, I thought at first it would be longer lines. We had to go through social distancing. No, the Rochester airport did their job. They know exactly what they're doing. Things are moving at a timely manner. I still do recommend my clients getting to the airport a minimum of an hour and a half before their flight.
That's a problem for our family.
It's a problem for families that have time issues, but it's worth it, because I always say it's so much easier to be on the other side having a coffee and a bagel than stressing and having anxiety that you're not going to make your flight. I
think that's how you start your vacation. That's usually how I start every vacation.
You got to stop that.
I know. We're bad. We are bad.
Yeah, it's all right.
So the flight went well. How about the hotel? Did you have to wear a mask while on property, or?
Here's the thing. I went to a couple of different properties while I was there. And my experience was fantastic. I felt very safe. So when you guys land, you book with me, everything's going to be included, especially at an all-inclusive. So your transportation will be included. I am quoting all of my clients a private transfer. Reason for that is safety. That, you're not having multiple families in there. You don't know what they're from, whether or not they're, have COVID, don't have COVID, you name it. Giving them the private transfer, not only is it better for getting, one place to the next, you're nonstop, you're going right to the hotel. It's just your family. So you feel a little bit safer. When we got into the transfer, they sanitized our hands immediately. They sanitized our bags in front of us before they put them into the car. There's a little sticker on the car that stated that it was already sanitized. You can smell it. You know that it was sanitized. You get in. It depends on the driver. Our driver said to us, if you feel comfortable, you can take your mask off. His mask stayed on the entire time. There is a divide between us. There was a plexiglass. So I did feel safe to take my mask off while I was in that van.
How about when you're in the resort?
When you're in the resort, when you're in a common area, just like now, when you're at a restaurant, obviously things have opened up for our area, but they want you to have your mask on. When you're sitting down, the mask is off. When you walk into every restaurant, they sanitized your hand, walked you to your table, you sat down, you enjoyed. When you're out at the beach, at the pool, outside, masks were not required.
Got it.
Meaning, and the whole time through, the staff, everybody that you come in contact with that works at the resorts, and I went to, like I said, multiple resorts, this stayed the same at all of them, they all wore masks the entire shift. Wow. So you never saw a staff member not wearing a mask.
I feel for them. It's got to be hot and crazy.
God, yeah.
We traveled back when swine flu was around, and I could tell you the resorts were empty. We did Mexico.
Yeah.
They took our temperature at the airport landing and before we took off, and for the most part, it was like a ghost town. And everyone thought we were nuts for traveling during swine flu. We had I thought, a fantastic vacation.
Good, yeah.
But I felt even when we traveled then, everything was very sanitary. They were always sanitizing their hands, offering it to you. There were stations everywhere. I imagine it's got to be the same now.
You got to understand. These destinations, so Mexico, Jamaica, Dominican, all of the Caribbean, even Europe, Italy, Greece, France, they bank on the tourism dollar. So
that's how they live.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we were down, when the borders were closed, let's just say for Mexico, when we talked to the Mexican workers and we were just like having conversations with them, they were like, it was awful. Like they need our tourism. They need it.
They do.
Just as much as we need it for our well-being, they need it for their livelihood. So for them, if they mess up on how they're going to sanitize, if they don't follow a guideline where they can get those borders closed again, that's detrimental to their lives. They don't want that. So they're going to do everything in their power to keep us traveling. Their occupancy levels are not at 100% yet. I appreciate that. They are increasing.
Wait, like because people aren't booking or because of mandates?
Mandates.
Got it.
So mandates only. I mean, if they could get up to 100, they would do it, but they're doing it safely.
Now?
I think we're right now at 60.
60, okay. That's
which is good.
Bad.
We were at 30 for a really long time.
Wow.
When I went, it was about 30%, and it was full. It was at the 30%.
Right.
They definitely social distance the chairs. So when we were laying by the pool, you can see like 2 chairs would be together and then there'd be a distance. Now, you can pull chairs together. If you have a family of 4 or 6, pull them together. That's your prerogative. But they keep them distanced based off the 2 so that if you're not with somebody, you're socially distanced from them.
How about the stuff to do, the restaurants, the facilities where things shut down because they weren't at capacity? Or
so what they're doing with restaurants at like an all-inclusive property is they're rotating being open. So if they have 6 restaurants that are available to the client, they may only open 3 one night and then the next night have the other 3 and then just kind of keep rotating them so that you always have the ability to try them. And you will be aware of that. They do that for staffing purpose as well as the occupancy.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So that's good. Now, so that's one segment. That's the airlines, that's the hotel, that's the transportation. Let's talk on a broader spectrum because we have clients that ask us all the time, should I be buying these stocks? Should I be considering that? What types of vacations are people booking? Are cruise lines even open yet?
Cruise line, I feel for their industry. Right now, the cruise lines that are operating are from other countries. Mm-hmm. So right now, no. They keep pushing our dates.
If I'm in the U.S. and I want to take a cruise like I normally could back in the day out of Miami, mm-hmm. That's like shut down.
Not right now.
But if I wanted to take a cruise, let's say somewhere in Europe or across the world somewhere else?
Well, certain ports of call are able to operate. I just got an email today, for instance, that river cruising, a specific brand.
It's like a Viking?
Yeah, Viking actually was the email that I received. As of mid-June, they're going to start doing just very limited cruising. That'll start at the mid-June, so like in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
They'll start operating, but very small, and everyone has to be vaccinated to be on board. So there are stipulations. You know what I mean? Like you have to just kind of watch it. Cruising is difficult. They're set at a different standard. There's mass amounts of people, like these Royal Caribbeans, Norwegians, Carnivals. These are mass cruise lines. You have thousands upon thousands of people in close proximity. They have to make sure that everyone is safe, or else it's a liability on their hands.
Sure.
So, and I think that when COVID began, it was such a disaster for them with people being stuck on board cruising, not being off, having to stay, that they took a hit. So right now it's not, but I'm very hopeful that we will get back to cruising.
So you're thinking maybe in later summer?
We've pushed
late summer?
A lot of the sale dates have been pushed to the end of July.
Okay.
So we're optimistic. It's just a matter of what happens.
Now, here in the U.S., are they going to have mandates on the vaccine if you do take a cruise? Can they even do that? I don't know.
It's uncertain.
Okay.
It's uncertain.
Okay.
I think even as we know, this last week with the CDC guidelines lifting, even just in New York State, everything changes minute to minute. And so on all of my itineraries for my clients, I have a bullet point highlighted in yellow that basically states CDC regulations are changing daily. I will keep you up to date based off of your itinerary. So I have clients that are traveling in the fall. What happens today as I book them is going to change.
Correct.
By then. So it's just letting them know that like, here's today's mandate. it may change, and I'll keep you posted. And that's, again, goes back to that service, of what I'll provide to you guys. You don't need to constantly be researching. That's my job.
Right. Love it. Because that's time for me that I could spend with my family, not worrying about researching.
And your family is going away soon.
Yes, we are.
And there's a lot of things. I know. I'm so excited for you. There's a lot of things that are changing, just with us now. So from now to the time that you guys go, I'm sure there'll be more changes that we'll be able to talk about when your documents come in.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We looked at areas on the investment front, commodities, things like tangible goods, gold, precious metals, copper, all that's going up, as well as fuel and gas. And I know summer months I guess they're here now, right?
Yeah.
We're May 20th, sun is shining. Mm-hmm. People are traveling more. They drive around. Kids are off of school. You're taking vacations. The fuel prices tend to go up anyway, but they're doing really well. One area I wonder about is business travel. And I know that's not like your focus or what NJF Travel focuses on, but do you think business travel will ever go back to what it used to be?
I think so.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I think that...
I like that because that's promising.
Yeah, I think that here's what's going to happen, especially like in sales forces. I think that they have succeeded. A lot of businesses have succeeded because we've had the ability to still communicate face to face as far as Zoom goes. Mm-hmm. But nothing is like going and seeing someone sitting down in front of them and saying, okay, here's what my company can offer you. And I think that that's where, even though it's worked, we've made it work this last year. I think that corporations are going to say, we got to get our sales team back out there. We need the face-to-face interaction. And I think corporate travel will become huge again because of that.
I like that. Yeah. I like the sound. And you're right. I mean, we're doing this podcast live, face-to-face. We've done podcasts over Zoom and, various meetings. It's not the same. It's a different vibe. Mm-hmm. You don't know when to talk. When I do my client reviews, they're awkward. Yeah. They're awkward. If I'm doing a client review over Zoom, there's a lag, there's a delay sometimes. You have technology issues. It's a different vibe when you meet face to face, like you said.
I agree. I think I've done client appointments over Zoom, and I actually teach as an adjunct at MCC for the tourism department.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I teach. We just ended the semester, and I had to do everything over Zoom. And I find it's like we have to over exude ourselves in these appointments to keep that momentum alive. I think it's easy with travel, but even still, you got to force it. Okay, get them excited at some point, and it's hard to do with the lag and all that. Face to face, you can read people, you can bounce off of them. So I really do think that corporate travel is going to go back up.
That's really, really good to hear because we have investments that tie in some of the technologies that happen kind of in the background, like the Sabres and, the airlines, Delta, American. We look at cruise lines, Royal Caribbean. Not that I'm saying any of those are good buys. We've had clients that have made quite a bit of money in profits because they bought at the very, very bottom. Mm-hmm. But to your point, when you look at cruise lines that are not even open, they have zero revenue.
Zero.
So how are you there's a big disconnect between what's actually happening as far as revenue coming through the door and pent up demand and people making these bookings and making money in the stock market. There's a clear disconnect. I mean, if you're making 30% on, let's say, a cruise line that's not open, that doesn't have any revenue, we know it'll come back at some point, but what will that look like?
Yeah.
And the fear is the same with business travel.
Well, I think I'm not extremely knowledgeable when it comes to stocks and things of that nature, but if you buy in when nothing's happening and then there's a sudden influx, wouldn't that be great for the people?
Absolutely.
So I think that cruise line would probably be the best bet because I'll tell you what, it's a solid industry, which basically means they have their foundation. They're not dead, in the water. They're going to thrive again, and when they do, people are dying to do it. So I have some cruise clients that they're strictly cruisers.
Die hard, yeah. I've noticed that,
and that is what they do. That is all they'll do. Because let me tell you something. With cruising, it's you're getting so much more bang for your buck. You're not hitting up just one island. You're hitting up 4 islands. You're not just getting, one little piece of entertainment. You're getting multiple different avenues, especially on these mass ships. So they're going to, the minute they're allowed, they're going to fill up again. And I feel like that would be good for
absolutely
somebody trying to get into it, right?
I think so too. Well, I appreciate your time. We talked to Natalie Fichera from NJF Travel.
Yes.
Check out the website.
Please
if you
do.
want to book something, you click the contact us button, start planning vacation. I know we're all anxious to kind of get out and do things right and do it safe. Spread the word, spread the message. It doesn't cost anything for the initial consultation as well as the planning meetings, right?
No cost to
Weddings, group travel, or just traveling with your family.
Yeah.
Speaking of friends and family are probably the worst clients. Are they not? I fire clients before they come in. If they're friends and family, you're almost fired before you come through the door.
God, that's funny.
It's just brutal. It's brutal. Why would you not support a local business that's right here? It doesn't cost you a penny more. And then you get the insight. When Lisa and I took our vacation to Italy, you provided us stuff that wasn't even available. We couldn't get this. It wasn't on Airbnb. It wasn't on any of those travel sites. We're talking about like apartments. I felt like I was ingrained in the culture.
Yeah.
When we went to Italy, we stayed at that apartment. We had private drivers. We had all kinds of stuff that you're not going to see.
Yeah.
You have some really exciting stuff to show, like pictures to get people excited. I have nothing exciting to show. What I could do is show you an impressive stock chart. Yeah. It's not going to, have you leaving the office too thrilled.
Sure.
But thank you so much for joining us. Check out the site. Definitely give NJF Travel a look. And we'd love to have you back on the show later on when things get more kind of normal, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love it.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Pennywise Financial, brought to you by Monarch Wealth Management. Constantine and David really care about their clients. They want to make sure you're happy, so you'll continue to hire them. There's no commitments, and clients are free to leave whenever they want. Think about being able to pick up the phone and call someone for guidance and advice on almost anything, from buying a car, selling a home, buying vacation properties, or even selling a business. Reach out on the website at monarchwealthmanagement.com. There are 2 offices in Rochester and 2 offices in Buffalo. Reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, or call us toll-free at 800-480-1580. That's 800-480-1580. Until next time, this is Pennywise Financial, signing off.
The opinions voiced in this program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC.